Your vaccine questions are really pouring in. Our team of experts includes the one and only Dr. Oz.
Dr. Oz, we're so glad to have you with us here tonight. Thank you for being here.
It's a great honor.
Okay, well, it is safe. The question is it safe to get shot, get the vaccine if you're pregnant or if you're breastfeeding?
Well, definitely if you're breastfeeding, you're fine. We don't know really about pregnancy because we never vaccinated pregnant women in clinical trials. You generally don't expose them early on. There's a general belief that it's safe. The U.S. government is embracing and endorsing the idea of pregnant women getting vaccinated because they have a higher risk of complications if they get COVID-19. The World Health Organization is a little more circumspect about it. But in general, there's a risk-benefit ratio that favors getting the vaccine if you're pregnant, even though it has not gone through formal clinical trials.
Dr. Oz, we have a lot of seniors 65 and over getting vaccinated, and a lot of them have the same question, which is when will they get to see their grandchildren again? When will it be safe for them to be with their young grandchildren, most of whom would imaginably not be vaccinated? What do you say?
Well, it takes about 2 weeks after the second dose for you to really get to a place where the clinical trials showed it was highly unlikely that you'd have major complications if you were to get COVID, and you probably don't get COVID that much either, although we don't know that for sure. So that's the date that I've been given to all my friends to go see their older relatives. 2 weeks after the second vaccine. Just as a matter of interest, you get a lot of protection from the first vaccine. The second vaccine is more about enhancing the durability of your protection, but that 2-week number is a pretty safe threshold.
And Dr. Oz, we were mentioning this and supply and demand, obviously an issue why some people cannot get the first or even a second dose. But for those who have been able to get the Moderna vaccine, at least the first dose, what if they cannot get the Moderna second dose within that time frame that is suggested? Is it okay to get it later, or do you have to start back from scratch and get the first one over?
No, you don't have to go back to scratch. You can get it later, and it's not that big a deal. In fact, some argue it may even be better if you delay it a little bit because it gives your body a better chance of building a response if you give it more gap. The clinical trials had to pick a date. They had to say, okay, 3 weeks, that's what Pfizer said, or 4 weeks, that's what Moderna said. It wasn't hard science that said it had to be 3 weeks or 4 weeks or even 5 weeks. But they knew that by 3 to 4 weeks, there'd be enough of a reaction to the first vaccine that the booster, the second shot, would take it to an even higher level and really solidify the benefit of the vaccine. But I've talked to people who are on the FDA panel who evaluated these vaccines, who say that there wasn't anything special about that date. You could wait 6 weeks, 7 weeks, maybe even longer if there was a good excuse to delay before getting the second dose, and you'll still be fine.
Well, Dr. Oz, we appreciate your insight. We're going to continue this conversation with you after the show. Dr.